from the north, he from the Canada. Bankroll so low, I got nothing else that I can.
No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Uh-uh.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is take 2. This is Jeremiah's J-Man Monero with J-Man Speaks coming to you live. That's right. We got MilleniWHO Talks episode number 41. Where have you been for the last 40 episodes, folks? Thanks for tuning in, where we have real estate rock stars to give their real stories from all over the world of how they succeeded in real estate. Their real life real estate stories. And we're here with Candy Bowen. Let me just get your name up here because everybody's going to know your name. Here we go. All right. So thank you for joining us from Tucson, Arizona.
Welcome.
Give us a little bit of, introduction, who you are, company you're with. And, I said Tucson. I kind of took it away. But you're outside of Tucson. So give us the actual area where you're from.
Yeah, I live in a little town called Sahuarita, Arizona, about 40 minutes south of Tucson. So I still do work in Tucson. A lot of work in Green Valley. If I could talk. I work with Realty Executives Arizona Territory. We just changed our name. And I moved over here this year from a different company to start and grow a team. Last year I did 120 transactions and 25 million in production. So
wow. Okay.
I've been doing it for 3 years. I've got 2 babies, and I've lived in Arizona for 12 years.
Arizona for 12 years. We're going to get into your life story a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But she just dropped that bomb right in the beginning, folks. Over 100 transactions, almost 25 million in production. Those aren't small numbers. She doesn't have a market where she's selling $1 million properties either, right? We'll get into that. But let's start at the beginning. Way back many years ago, 3 years ago, when you
3 whole years.
First started in real estate. Like, what made you get into real estate? What drew you to it?
Okay, so quick background. I was a park ranger law enforcement officer, and then I got pregnant with my son and decided that I didn't want to be a law enforcement anymore. So I stay-at-home mom for 6 months. It didn't really work for me, and I got into transaction coordinating from home. I realized that most agents were not as smart as I was, because I was catching things like big, huge mistakes, and decided I'm going to go make real money. Instead of making $12 an hour, I'm going to make some of these commission checks I'm cutting. So that got me into real estate, and I just jumped right in.
Nice. So you were a park ranger,
mm-hmm.
and you went into so you had no fear, obviously. Either way, you got into real estate right from law enforcement.
Yeah, so it was like either I was going to get into nursing or real estate, and we decided it was cheaper to get in real estate, and I'm good with people, so we must give it a shot.
So, and I like what you said. I mean, not that you obviously could be smarter than the average bear, but more detail oriented, catching a lot of the things, and I think we'll get into that's one of your keys to success. But
mm-hmm.
Well, right off the bat, when you got your license and you started practicing real estate, and I like to say practicing real estate because that's what a lot of people do. We're always practicing until we become professional at it. When you first started, what were some of your challenges? Did you just start selling right away? And if you did, what helped you to start selling right away?
So I was lucky enough to watch one of these right when I started, and somebody on there had done 30 open houses in 30 days and got 9 deals under contract. And I was like, well, okay, there's my start. That's what I'm going to do. I also, the lady who was our realtor, she was kind of my mentor when I started. So I had someone to call, and I showed houses for her, and I got in front of a ton of clients that I would never got in front of if I wasn't just a showing assistant for like 3 months. I didn't get my first deal until 3 months in, but before that, I just did 6 open houses a week, sometimes twice a day. Yeah, I killed it. Like, I was just doing open house, and I was building that pipeline, and I realized that it's a long game. My goal was to sell 1 house in 6 months. And so if I could have done that, we were good. I had enough money, and it turned out I sold a little bit more than that. But yeah, so open houses was my big thing. I didn't spend a dime on advertising to start with.
I love that. So this is a topic that we haven't really ever brought up on MilleniWHO Talks. Open houses, because I've been in markets where people go like, open houses don't work here. I would love to hear like your strategy, number one, in like promoting the open house, but also what do you do at the open house? You say, here's the kitchen, like, what's
No. So this is something. So now I started a team, and so I'm training agents, which is really cool because I can kind of like tell them what I've done. And when I did open houses, I think the main thing is connecting with people. You don't have to sell the house. The house will sell itself. People know where the kitchen is. They know where the bathroom is. They know what granite is. They know all that stuff. So if you just connect with them, hi, have you been looking for long? Are you from this area? Blah, blah, blah. You'll find something to connect with them with. Military brat, was in the military. I've lived 100 different places. So somebody could be like, oh yeah, we're just coming in from Illinois. And I'm like, oh, I went to high school there, and blah, blah, boom, your immediate connection. When people like you, they trust you, and then they're going to stick with you. So that's one of the biggest things. One of the biggest things I tell my agents right now is when somebody walks in the door, don't have this stupid sheet that says, here, please sign in, give me your information. You got to earn that. You got to earn that trust, and you got to like make them like you. So don't ask them if they have an agent right at first. Because what do you do when you walk into a furniture shop and they're like a vulture and they're like, yeah, and you're like, I'm just looking, back up, But then if I really want to buy a couch, I feel like, oh, great, now I'm going to have to maybe go somewhere else. But so I just let them walk around. And once I feel like we have and I'll give you a good secret to success too soon on open houses, but make sure that we have some kind of a connection. Because if we don't, maybe I don't want to work with that person. Maybe I don't want to waste my time. But at the end, before they go, I'm like, so are you working with somebody? And if they, at that point, they're going to tell me the truth. And usually they say, no, we just started looking. We're only 6 months out. And I don't know what you say. What's the word you say when you're a counter to that is, oh, that's great. I love when people are looking for 6 months. It gives me enough time to get to know them, to get to know what they're looking for. I work with a lot of people that I've sold a house to after a year after meeting them in open house. So I'm going to stick with you. You can see what's coming and going on the market. Once you've seen 5 models in this neighborhood, you've seen them all of that stuff. So you just want to like feed that you're going to give them valuable information, and they like you from there. So my big tip on open houses is in an open house, I pick a good one, like a good neighborhood, something that's not been on the market very long, maybe that's vacant, so it's easy to show and you don't have to worry about stuff getting stolen. Do open houses on other people's properties. Nobody knows they're not yours. You just get your sign out there, they see your name. And the biggest thing that I do that really locked me in and got me a bunch of deals is I look up 10 similar houses in the neighborhood. I print out a little packet that has these 10 houses. I list on the front, 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 250,000, whatever. And these people are out looking. And if you can get them in more houses, they're going to be like, oh yeah. So I'm like, so I'm done here in about 20 minutes. Are you guys interested in seeing any of these houses? And then boom, you've got them. I've left open houses many times where I went and showed a house and sold it that same day.
So have you ever lived in New York?
No.
Okay, because as fast as you talk, you're a natural New Yorker.
Oh, East Coast. Yeah.
So I'm going to break it down. So I'm going to say like a hot sheet for open houses, if you will. Like you said, if it's a 4 bedroom, 2 bath colonial, then that's probably more or less what they're looking for in a certain price range. And you yourself could go and then pick out what we would call the shiny pennies, or what you feel are like the 10 best properties. I love that strategy, hot sheet for open house, and then leave there and show them something immediately.
And don't give that to everybody, and staple your business card on the top, because that's a great way to give somebody your business card with a piece of valuable information.
Right, because you have to add value. It's not just thank you for coming to the open house and then you follow up later. Did you like the house? No, I liked it, and it's like, give them something of value that they didn't get it somewhere else that they went to. But starting off, making sure they're not working with another agent. But if they're not, then, demonstrate to them that you're an expert in the market. You know the inventory, the houses that are available. Show them a house immediately.
And then another thing I wanted to point out too is when I started, not one person asked me how long I was doing it. Nobody ever asked me that. So one person asked me, have I ever sold $1 million house before? That was the only question I got. So don't think that you have like now, yeah, I have statistics and all this, or designations and all this stuff. So yeah, now I can spout that all out. But at the beginning, I didn't have any of that. All I had was like my personality and my confidence. And that's what people really are attracted to and what they want.
So, and I like that because I think we have low self-esteem when we first started in the business because you might be too young, too old, too fat, too skinny, whatever the thing is that's in your head that somebody told you couldn't do because you weren't good enough. And then you bring that into an open house like, oh, what if somebody comes in and they have $1 million listing? I don't know enough. Says who?
Mm-hmm.
Says who, right? I think you are the one they've been looking for. And if they like you first, if they like, know, and trust you, they won't care about anything else. But you did bring up the designations, and you have a bunch of alphabet soup after your name, much like me.
Mm-hmm.
You're like an education junkie. What do you find? Like, how did you use that? Because I feel like if somebody just looks at your card and looks at all the designations, they're not in real estate. They don't know what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use that with clients, and how is it beneficial to your career?
Okay, so I think that was huge in just having some experience and looking like the expert. You always want to be the expert. People want to go to the expert. So I chose first to do my accredited buyer, ABR. I did that first because my first year I mostly worked with buyers. So I did that. My second one was senior real estate specialist because I work in an area that's like 80% 55 plus, So the benefit of that, and then me being a veteran at the same time, just having those two and being able to offer that and know what the people are looking for. So as far as the senior one, I put on workshops for seniors at libraries and different places like that, showing them how to downsize, upsize. You just get your name and your face out there, and you put these designations behind it, and boom, all of a sudden you're the expert. I got my SRS, which is your seller represent specialist, and then CRS and MRP because I'm a veteran, so I work with a lot of vets. I think using those specifically like towards seniors or towards veterans or towards whatever. This last year I got my broker. Well, I passed all my broker stuff. I haven't made it live yet or whatever, but I did get that because that's just another level of experience that people are going to see and want to trust and follow you.
And I think a lot of that probably ties into your military background, like wanting to advance and get better and do better and right, going up in the ranks, if you will, in the real estate ranks. And you have to be a student of the game in real estate. I always tell folks, like, you're going to meet with a client, like, would you rather meet with that doctor who hasn't done anything since they got their license 20 years ago, or the guy who's continuously specializing in what they want to specialize in and identifying what your niche is? And I like the order that you did. It's almost perfect. If you recognize you're working with buyers first, ABR is a great route to go. If you're more seller heavy, then maybe the SRS, the seller representative specialist. If you have seniors in your area, the SRES is great. If you are a veteran or would like to work with veterans, the MRP, military relocation professional, is also a great way. And then you said the CRS.
That's kind of a big one. It was because
specialist.
That was because it was challenging and I just wanted it. Like, I had to do 50 hours. I think I was one of the newest agents to ever qualify to get the CRS because I just killed it. And that's basically why I got the CRS, because I just wanted to prove I could.
That's
I'm
right.
competitive. I'm slightly competitive.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. So with the, I'm just going to go back to the open houses for a second. Do you have a follow-up method that you kind of implemented? If, obviously if they're there and they're hot and they want to go look at something right now and they write an offer, that's one thing. But what about the folks, NAR statistics say on average buyers are 2 to 24 months out when you meet them, right? So how do you stay in touch for that? Because for me, it's like, it's hard. We get so busy, right? How do you stay in touch?
I got my hair. It's backwards in the video. I don't know how to fix it. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna have something about Mary hair. There we go. That way.
What's your follow-up method like?
Okay, so open houses, people who aren't ready like this week to buy. So I tell them that I'm going to send them some houses and I want some interaction with that. So what I tell them on top of that is I say, I need you to tell me which ones you like and which ones you hate, because that way I can tighten up your search and make it so you're only getting these gems that you want to look at and I'm not wasting your time. So that's one way that I kind of get them to engage with me. So they're like, oh, we're a team, we're working together. Because I don't know what you want. You're going to be living there. If you can tell me that you hate this kitchen or that floor plan, I can narrow the search down. And that way, when I send them emails, I get a notification that says that they've seen a house. And then like at first, maybe once a week, if I know they're 6 months out, depending on their timeline, I'll just follow up if they've looked at one and say, hey, have you seen anything that you like lately? Or are you still interested in the market? How's everything going? I just reach out at least once a week for people who are 2 months out, and at least once a month for people like 6 months out.
And I'm not sure about your MLS, but most of the MLSs, if you add them to that client gateway or that automated feed, you can see when they click, when they're active, right? When they're active clicking.
And no, you mentioned that, you made me think of something. So we have a portal in our MLS. I don't know, do you guys have the same thing? So I always invite the clients to do that. And I say to them, this is going to be, I'm going to put you in the portal. This is something that you have access to what I see. And it's going to be more up to date than Zillow and Realtor.com because it's literally the MLS that I see. And that way you're taking away other agents. You're taking away competition. If they're only looking through your portal, and this is free through your MLS, if they're only looking at your portal, your name is the only one that they see. So you want to like take away the competition right there and get them, give them why they should use the portal, that it's better than the MLS. They're going to get better updates. They're not going to be looking at active contentions all day long, stuff like that.
And in yours, can they filter it as well as far as like favorites? Okay, right? They can go in there and kind of save some time that way.
And they can star, like you're saying, they can star their favorites. They can set up their own searches, and then I can go see what they favorited.
Right. So again, it's all about providing value. Like you've developed your value proposition, if you will, of why they should use the gateway, because everybody's going to have their favorite portal or website that they're using. And I think that's a great UVP. They're saying we have all the properties. It's updated continuously. It's 100% accurate. This is what I see as a realtor. I can give you direct access.
Yeah, I give you access to my MLS. That's what I tell them. Like, it's mine. It's something I'm giving them through me. That's really great. It's mine. Nobody else has it.
Yeah. No, I like that. So the first year you said, wait, you didn't make your first sale took 3 months?
Yes. So I got my license in November, and then I went on vacation and didn't start actively working until right after the new year. I know.
That's nice. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. It was Christmas.
Yeah.
So it took me a little bit to get my first deal, but so I think it was February I closed 1, my first year, then March I closed 2, then April I closed 3, and then it was like 5 and 6. It was crazy. I was like, what the heck is going on? And by the time I had like 10 under contract before I had 6 months in, people were like, that's amazing. I can't believe you've done that. And I'm like, what? I didn't even realize that it wasn't normal to just be selling like 3 and 4 houses a month right to start. So that's when I started thinking about like, oh, let me start getting into, this is obviously what I'm meant to do. So that's why I wanted to get into the Women's Council Realtors and the YPN. I'm in a kind of, I'm about 40 minutes away from the city. So I wanted to be more involved in the association and things. So that's why I joined the YPN and the Women's Council Realtors. I'm on the board of directors for them now and stuff like that. But it really grows your referral business, because people on the north side of Tucson who are an hour and plus away from my house, and they don't know anything about Green Valley, which is all senior citizens and stuff like that, they will refer me. My referral business is like 30% agent to agent.
Wow.
So that when you get involved and you get designations and you go to these trainings and things like that, you meet people and then they know you, they trust you. So that's another like avenue to get business.
So I want, if you're watching this, it's not a get rich quick scheme. Okay. Like activity breeds activity, and just rewind it if you have to. But she went and did open house after open house after open house, 30 in 30 days, if you will, which is unheard of. But she said, you know, if you get your license, it doesn't mean it's an automatic ATM machine. Right? I think it's the misconception. A lot of agents are like, I got my license. Hello.
Where's my money?
Yeah, where's my money? And I still have a phone in my office with a cord. Isn't that awesome? You too? Oh my goodness. So, but I think I want people to kind of learn, like, you didn't sit around. You went to the business. You went and said, I'm going to do things to put me in the right place and position myself strategically in front of people who might be potentially buying or selling. So at what point did you realize, like, this business is getting crazy? I wanted, like, I need more people, I need more time, or both? right?
So, I also mentioned earlier that I have 2 kids. So I had one at the beginning. He was only 7 months old. And then I did fertility treatments to have my second baby, all while I'm doing this crazy amount of business. Got pregnant, had my kid. And in that year, I sold 70 houses, like 15 million. So I was crazy busy. I
You
never
just have the baby like in a drive-through, like,
I was literally in labor, like, sure, I can write that Benzer and hold on just a second. Oh, and pushing. And it was just crazy. And like the nurses were like, what the hell? And I'm like, I just have to, have to keep going because that's just me. And that's my drive. And not everybody has that, but you can, 70 deals, 100 deals, that's insane, right? Like you don't have to do that much to be comfortable and happy with real estate if you're providing a service. So, I don't even know where I was going with that, but I knew it was getting big. That's what it was. I knew it was getting big early. Like my first year, people start seeking me out and they're like, oh, you're probably going to be the rookie of the year this year. And I'm like, what's that? Tell me more about it and all of it. And so once I got that and I got talking to more agents and realizing what numbers like you would normally be doing at your first year, I was like, okay, I need to start tracking what I do because I know I'm going to grow. So my mindset from the beginning was that I'm going to grow a team. I'm going to grow something big. So everything I did from writing a contract, like literally step 1, open up .loop, step 2, put the purchase price. Like I wrote everything down so that when I have a team and I have a transaction coordinator, all that, I could hand them this like handbook basically. And so I took what I learned from transaction coordinator. I wrote all of that down. I use a system that gives me a checklist on every single transaction because I did 50 myself, like all by myself. And I have awesome systems. I think that's really important to be able to give your clients a really good service and experience. You're going to need to be on top of your game. So my checklist is literally like, this day, this is due, the Benzer's due 10 days out, check on this, check every single thing I do in a transaction has a date and a checklist on there. So when I decided to hire a transaction coordinator, I literally just handed her the system and she's a rock star now. She's my 5th. Okay, I hired a bunch of people before I found the right one. So don't worry if you hired the wrong person. Just fire them quick. They'll be a money suck, Isn't it true?
No, it's so true because like I have a good friend of mine. He has a saying like, hire slow, fire fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like if you know they're not a good fit in the beginning, then it's like, okay, let's cut ties now before you invest more time. Time is money, but more time than money.
So I hired Christina, who's my transaction coordinator, about a year ago. And so it was me and her when I did most of my deals last year. I would say I started growing the team of buyer's agents last year around, I want to say September, October is right around the time. And that really helped because I knew that I was so busy. I wasn't having any time with my family. I hardly saw my kid. My baby didn't even call me mom for quite a long time. I know it's sad. It's really sad. But he would say dad to my husband and only mom or not mom to me, just like, hey, what's up, lady? So I decided then I needed more time with my family. So I was going to have to like, I'm not a controlling person, but I'm also like, I want everything to be done right. So it's hard for me to give away. So when you find the right person, like I don't even look at the paperwork anymore now that I have my transaction coordinator. She's amazing. And then my buyer's agents Annie was my first buyer's agent and she's a freaking rock star all by herself. So just hiring on people that, we are a family and we fit together really good and we all have the same values and we're not money hungry. It's not about like making, like if the house has roof damage and mold and stuff, I'm going to be like, you probably shouldn't keep this house because I'm not desperate. And I think you cannot come from a place of desperation in real estate, period. And if you feel yourself doing that, you might need to get a different job because people can feel it and nobody likes it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to recap Fast Talker.
I know. I'm so sorry. I tried
I love it. I mean, I can grasp it, but we have people that may watch this from all over the country, and it's hard to digest a lot of information at once.
Mm-hmm.
So part of what made the transition to a transaction coordinator so easy, not easy, but easier, was the fact that you kind of had your systems and strategies in place, And so we always tell folks like that's the best place to start. Like not just writing it down, but if you could, like if I'm going to do a CMA for a potential listing, record your screen, like use video to your advantage, right?
I do.
Record your screen
Bloom.
and then write down everything. Say, I'm doing this because, and I love it because if you look at any business that's scalable, any franchise that you want to invest in, people open a Subway, McDonald's, a Burger King, it's because they have a manual of everything they need to do, and they know that they could take this manual and give it to this person and that person the next, and be successful.
Where I thought about that is when I was a park ranger, I was actually an assistant manager for Patagonia Lake, and I wrote their operating manual for Patagonia Lake, and I did such a good job at it that the rest of the state parks all kind of took that as like the template. And then I ended up having, if you're good at something in government work, they're going to make you do more of it. So, but that's where I got the idea. I actually had done that right before it was finishing, right before I had left my position there.
Okay. So learn. So where did you find when you were kind of trying to grow your team, did you just kind of click with, what was your first buyer's agent?
Okay, so Annie came on as my transaction coordinator my second year in real estate. So she worked with me for, I want to say like 5 or 6 months, and she's amazing, like amazing. And then right before I had my baby, she decided, like I was slowing down a little bit because obviously I was about to give birth. So she went on and went to a different company and became a transaction coordinator for multiple people. So she was doing that for a while. But when I had got Christina in place, and then Annie and I had reconnected, I was always thinking about getting her back onto my team, and we connected back, and then we talked. Yeah, I know. I love her to death. I'm so happy that I have her on my team.
I would have her back to my team.
Amazing. So, so I just sweethearted her back and told her, you can start off one way, or she started off doing like lead generation for me. And I knew she was going to be a good buyer's agent. So I told her, whenever you're ready, you just go ahead and be a buyer's agent. And now she's got like 10 under contract, so she's doing really good. So I just knew I can read people, I can tell talent. Like with Christina, I was like, this is going to be my perfect person. So I just read people. I see if they have the traits that they're going to need in order to work hard. Because if you can't work hard and you can't like take a phone call at 6 and somebody wants to see a house and you have to call your family and say you're not coming home, that's what it takes at first. You have to be willing to put the time in. So when I see that in somebody, that's when I'll hire them on to be in my team.
Nice. Okay. So let's go back over to the volunteer efforts, because you do a lot to volunteer. Board, YPN, Women's Council of Realtors.
Another board.
Another board. How do you find the time? Like, what's the balance like? But you kind of glaze over. What's that? Oh, okay. Well, we're going to be talking about volunteering when she gets back. Oh, after that commercial break. Hi, welcome back.
My door just opened. People were screaming outside, so I didn't want that.
Okay, no worries.
Go ahead.
So volunteer efforts, I think not enough is said, because it feels like a thankless task when people say, hey, do you want to be part of this committee? Do you want to be part of this board? Do you want to be part of this? And I want you to kind of reemphasize the benefits, not only for the referrals, but also each one of those groups provides valuable information for their members. So maybe just start with the Women's Council of Realtors, because that's how we met. I did an event for the Women's Council of Realtors in Tucson, Arizona. Yeah,
so that was an awesome event, by the way. It's very good. So when I decided that this was going to be the career for me, right? I was like, I love it. This is great. I started looking at places where I could get around people that are better than me, because I'm brand new. I'm still brand new. I mean, I'm top agent, like top 25, and I'm still brand new, and I still know that. And I will ask questions, and I'm not like, oh, I've sold so many houses and now I'm better than everybody. No, people have been this, they've done it. They've been through a crash. They've been through all of it. And so I know that I can still learn from everybody. And so that's why Women's Council of Realtors was one that interested me, because obviously I'm a woman, but the other thing that was so great about them is they put on amazing events. Like all the time you can go to their events and take learn really good things for your business. You don't have to take every single thing, but if you're open-minded and you'll take the little tidbits that are going to work for you, I think that really will grow your business. Like just this morning, I was listening to your other talk, and I'm like, my brain is going crazy with what I can do with that information. I'm like, oh, this is like, it just changes your life sometimes when you think, if you take that opportunity, grab onto it, who knows where it's going to elevate you to. So I think that's one of the biggest things about joining any group. And that's why I joined YPN, because I did see that they had a lot of really good events. And then do you want me to go on to the next one?
Well, YPN, so that's Young Professionals Network, whether you're young at heart, young in the business, or young in age, because I am what you would call younger. I mean, it's like a newer kitchen.
I'm a youngish too.
Yeah. And, well, I think some people are intimidated by it because they think I'm not young. Why should I go? Maybe they won't like me because I'm not young. And I think that's never the case.
And in fact, I think they're actually trying to change the name. Instead of Young Professionals, they're going to maybe change it to open it up to more places, because it isn't just for young people. It's for, it's for everybody who we like right now, that clear cooperation agreement, the MLS 8.0, whatever that thing is. We were going to put on an event. We scheduled, postponed. But anyway, we put on events that are relative to your business, new business. I was on a panel once when I was Rookie of the Year. So I was a newbie, and then there was an investor, and then there was somebody who ran a really big team. And so we sat in a panel, and a whole bunch of people came and just asked us questions. And still to this day, I get people being like, I was in the audience. You really inspired me to do this or that. So you will really pick up a lot of tidbits from joining these groups. And not only that, this is a lonely profession. Like, we are by ourselves. We're like an island. So why not be around other people who get it, who, like, you go to lunch and they're like, hold on, I've got to take a phone call. You're like, I get it. Yeah, bye. Go make money. So you have to surround yourself with those people. And also, whether somebody does a lot of business or not a lot of business, you could gain something from knowing people, you know?
Yeah, people's self-worth is not identified with the amount of real estate that they sell. Doesn't make them a good or bad person. But then you also said you're involved with your local real estate board.
Yeah.
So you're explain the difference.
Okay. So it's actually kind of a shakeup. So we used to have our own MLS here in Green Valley, and then another one in Santa Cruz County down in Nogales, which is like an hour south. You guys don't know these, whatever. Anyway, all of our MLS is merged. So we are now the multiple listing service Southern Arizona. That's out of Tucson. But before, all of each association had their own MLS. So my Green Valley Association is very attended. We have Tuesday morning meetings, and there's like 50 to 100 people there every single day, every single Tuesday morning, 8:15 a.m. So think about that. The average age in Green Valley is 72 years old. The average real estate agent is probably that same age. So it may be a little bit younger, but a lot of these people have been in the business a very long time, and they're old school. They love getting information. They love seeing people. These, this is before like we ever even, maybe you were, I don't know, but you didn't have internet. You had a book that had like all the listings and stuff. So they've been through change. They've been through a lot of change. So I think that's why that this association is so attended. It's just because there's so much experience. And there's two separate ones. So Tucson Association of Realtors is my primary association. That's the one that I started with, and then I joined on to Green Valley as a secondary, but I'm still a member of the board because I'm most active in Green Valley and Sahuarita, which is the Green Valley Sahuarita Association of Realtors. But I need to be involved in my community and what's going on. We have, Green Valley Recreation, which is a big deal. And it's a reason that Green Valley exists. And we get to help support the ways that would be best for our clients by being parts of these boards. We get to make decisions like which way are we going to vote? Which way are we going to stand? All this stuff. And it's really kind of neat to be able to be a representative. You have to get voted into these positions so people trust you. And when you have that sense of responsibility, it just makes you really be involved in the community. And I think that's what real estate's about. And that's why real people are always going to be needed in real estate.
I love that. So just making sure that you give back to your community, because if you want to specialize in a certain area, the best way to do that is to volunteer, give back, demonstrate your expertise in a way where, you're building social capital, you're helping other people. And then eventually they probably go, hey, Candy, what do you do anyways? Oh, I'm in real estate. And it's not an interview at that point. They're going to use you to buy or sell because they know you're a good person. Like your heart is there. Your heart's in the community where you live. So we're coming kind of to the end of our talk, but we always end with, if you've only 3 years ago, but if you had to go back through 3 whole years,
3 whole years. I don't know if I would get that far.
and go, Candy, younger, like, is there anything that you would do different, or what kind of advice would you give yourself or a new agent kind of getting started younger in the business who may not have the confidence? Because I feel that's one of your biggest strengths is your confidence, because that military background and that law enforcement has really taught you to stand tall no matter what, through all obstacles. So if somebody doesn't have that confidence, what kind of advice would you give them?
Okay, well, I think I'll just go with the advice part, because I really feel like, not that I can't think of things I wouldn't do differently, but that every struggle that I did have was necessary for me to grow into the agent that I am today. So I don't think I would change it. But advice I would give to people is, everybody and their mother is going to try to sell you something, like the advertising, the leads, the this, the that. Don't do that first. Like, get your base from your own, like, people that people that you see. I've gotten so many listings from open houses because people are like secret shoppers. They want to see what you're doing at this open house. And I've left open houses and gotten a listing. But like, that's my biggest advice to people is get involved with your association, get involved with the real estate community, get involved with your own community, whether it's like working at the food bank or whatever, and then do open houses and do things that are going to actively like get you. And if nobody shows up to the open house, don't get discouraged. Use that as time to be on Facebook and posting things. I think that's something I didn't say, how I post my, how I market my open houses, but I can tell you about it if you want.
30 seconds or less. How do you market them?
30 seconds left. I just put them on Facebook. I go in the yard sales, the buy sell pages, any of the local residential pages and stuff like that. Just post it there and people will come.
Boom. And that's a new and creative way that I haven't heard either. So we want to thank you, Candy, for being a part of MilleniWHO Talks. Again, if you're watching this live, you're watching on the playback, we thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions for Candy, please put them in the comments. We're going to link her bio and her company information in the comments so that you could always reach out to her and ask her any questions. So thank you for being a part of this, Candy. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And again, thanks for tuning in. This is Jeremiah's J-Man Monero with MilleniWHO Talks, real estate rock stars from all over the country, sharing their real stories to help you be better, do better, and be the realtor that you were meant to be. Make it a great day.